It's Evan Paul here hanging with Luke Combs, man, who is getting old. What's up, man?
Dang, getting old, man. Not really, but it feels like it. And I feel like maybe me saying I'm not getting old is actually me getting old, right? That's where it starts.
That's how it is?
Yep.
It's like when you wake up in pain just from how you slept.
Yeah, and you're just like, man, I'm not old, you know? Like I remember my parents, like you're trying to hype yourself up a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm not old. It's cool. I'm good. I'm young.
That's where you're at right now?
Yeah, I'm still super young and stuff.
What's the next album going to be called?
Super old, probably, or something, you know? Yeah.
Well, and there's a couple songs on the album that your fans might not expect. They might surprise some of them. The Fox and the Hen House. Mm-hmm. Do you have a fight inside?
Yeah, a little bit, man. And that's funny, when we wrote that song, it was like, it was just about, like me and my buddy Dan literally both have chickens. And then literally our chickens were getting killed. And so that was where the idea was kind of born out of. There's no like hidden. I think when you hear it, like when people hear it, they're going to be like, man, this is about this or
I was about to ask you, like, have you ever been punched in the face?
I have been, yes, I have.
Tell me about when you got punched in the face.
I got punched in the face for the first time probably, I don't know, I was probably in like fourth grade or something. It was my neighbor, actually one of my good friends, named Keeley, lived down the street from me growing up. He's from Montana. I moved there, and I don't know, we're still buddies. We still play video games together to this day.
I mean, don't think he's not telling everybody like, hey man, I punched Luke Combs in the face.
He decked me too, bro. It's like, cause like, you know what I mean? Like you figure a lot of like shit out when you get punched in the face. You know what I mean? Like that first time you're like, oh, that's okay.
Everybody's got something to say until they get punched in the face.
For sure. And that's a true statement, dude. I think there's a lot of the world's problems are caused by people who've never been punched in the face before. I would argue that.
The other song that I'm referring to is Joe. Yep. Have you been that close to addiction with someone that you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of folks in my family that's kind of been a theme in some way, shape, or form. Kind of have a family history of that. I'm thankful to not deal with that as much. Because I have seen it, kind of firsthand. And I just think about sometimes we're out and, all our songs are about drinking and going out and partying. Not all of them, but, a majority of, that's a common, theme throughout our genre at the current time. And it kind of always has been, looking back, you know what I mean? And I think about it, and I've also had friends who, choose to, or, kind of forced to live the sober life, and I've known them before that, and I've known them after that as well. And so I think about these things like we're going to play a show, and listen, I know there might only be 10 people at an arena that are doing that, but I can't help but think about, because I have a couple of close friends who live that way, and it's like, okay, if I write a killer, if I write "Being Here Broke My Heart" kind of thing, partying song, and there's 9,990 people that song, they love that song, right? But if there's 10 people that hear this song and it's like, it means the world to them, like that may be worth it.
What's something Luke Combs really nerds out about? Like for me, it's like lawn stuff, like he's fertilizing.
Deer hunting and turkey hunting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it for me. I was talking to my wife last night. I said, did you ever think that I would be on the couch talking to you about deer genetics? And she was like, she just, thank you, God bless her, I mean, she's like, oh, that's so great that, you feel like you've got good genetics on this property. I love that. Like she could just care less, dude, right, which I can't blame her, I literally thought about it
good
when I was telling her. I was like, I said that and I was like,
yeah.
God, dude, I am old.
Yeah.
Officially, right?
On being back-to-back CMA Entertainer of the Year, so many people say it's just good to be nominated. Mm-hmm. After you've won a couple times, is that still true?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I think it means you're still, I just think being in that conversation is a huge deal. You know what I mean? It's like you're obviously at the top of your game if you're in that conversation, And I mean, I think anyone would be lying to say they, they'd be just as happy not winning, because that's just not true. You know what I mean?
Well, and not a lot of people have won it 2 times. Who can you? There's a few that you can talk to. Is there anyone that you can talk to about that and like what your go through and stuff?
I mean, I know, I know that Vince Gill has won it twice. Garth has won it a few times, like 7, just a few times. Or something, you know.
And you and Vince are cool after you ran into him at 3rd and Lindsley when you first came up.
Yeah, dude. Man, that was wild. I love Vince, man. I mean, he's like one of my biggest heroes. You know, he's just so incredibly talented. But yeah, you know, it's the cool thing is, you know, when I won both times, you know, it's like everybody, you know, that I know or have their number in my phone, you know, that has won that previously texted me that night and was like, "Hey, man, huge deal, congrats," you know. And I just think that's really cool. You know, it's like this kind of unique fraternity, you know, to be in, of people that have won that award, and it means a lot to them. And you can tell, you know, because when I won, it was like, I mean, even people that I was nominated against texted me and were like, "Hey, man, you know, congrats." You know, we all know how big of a deal it is, you know, and there'll be a time, it might be this year, where somebody else wins, dude, and I text them, you know, I'll be the first one to text them and go, "Dude, you deserve it," or, you know. I mean, I just think it's just such a unique, cool thing to be a part of.
You and Morgan Wallen are like constantly on top of the charts. Like y'all should be paying rent, going back and forth.
Right.
Is it like a Magic Johnson, Larry Bird type situation, or are you guys like always but talking to each other, looking to? You know?
I don't know. You know, I think there's, you know, inevitably like competition with everybody, whether it's, you know, Beyonce, like everybody wants to win, right? But man, I mean, Morgan was out on tour with me, and we text, man, decently frequently, about not really music at all, you know, just like, I think we're both kind of in this rare spot right now in a career, and it's like, you know, we ask each other questions about, really, it's just like, "How you doing, man?" Or "How do you do this thing?" Or "How you been?" Like, just, it's more checking on each other. It's not like, "Hey, man, I got this new song and it's gonna, you know, destroy your song," or whatever. It's it's more like, you know, he's a super good dude, and you know, I just want him to be good. You know what I mean? Because it's hard. It's a hard headspace to be in, and there's not a lot of people who are up there that understand, you know, that are willing to talk about it. So yeah, man, he's a resource for me. I'm a resource for him, I like to think. So he's an awesome dude. And
one final question. Let's say there was a movie coming out about you. Who's playing Luke Combs?
Oh, geez. I like to think it would be like a dark comedy, probably. I don't know, man. Like Chris Farley. I mean, he's dead, but you know, I mean, he's got to be big, right? You know, like he's got to be a big guy, right? I mean, you know,
are you a Tommy Boy fan?
Oh, huge, yeah,
Tommy
yeah. Oh man, Tommy want wingy, dude. You
Tommy
know,
want wingy. Housekeeping. Well, dude, congratulations on all the success, man.
Thank you.
Let's keep the streak
Appreciate
alive.
it. Yeah, let's try.